right, guys, welcome back to Fitness Fundamentals with Keenan and Jared. We got a good pod today talking about a little bit of cardio, it's kind of our journey with different forms of cardio and stuff like that. Other than that, Keenan, how did you feel like today's mobile machine went?
I loved it. The program was good. It was a good balance of upper body and lower body.
Mhm.
The exercises today and block one were Zercher squats, which I love.
Yeah.
Also, we did dumbbell chest flies. Some of them did an incline, which is new to them. That was amazing. And then block two, I was testing out a new exercise. It's kind of like a glute ham raise, but you put a barbell at your hip. It's more of a back extension exercise, which I found it interesting. It's my first time programming it into mobile machine. However, there are some complications because like our barbells are so close together. So people were kind of hinging together at the same time, almost butting heads. But what do you think of that exercise?
I liked it. I think it's a good alternative to the GHD machine. Personally, I really do. I don't think it's like a absolute substitute to that machine. However, like I definitely think that machine's definitely something that should be used. But yeah, if you're trying to get some stimulus, that's a good alternative to that machine.
Yeah. Have you ever tried the 45-degree hyperextension at like a commercial gym or maybe
Yeah,
your
yeah.
partner gym?
No,
Yeah.
I love them, and a lot of
Yeah.
people like them for lower back strengthening too.
Yeah, lower back, glutes. I feel like it's a really good, just a full posterior chain exercise. Even hamstrings
Mhm.
too. Somehow for me, I feel it a lot in my hamstrings.
I do too, just because your leg almost feels like it's locked out.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I actually saw a dude at my school gym. He was holding 345s.
What? Have
Yeah,
you
I
even
know,
set up
doing
into
the glute
that?
ham raise. I was like, number one, yeah, that's crazy strength, but also I don't even care about your glutes. Like, how are you holding 345 plates while
Just
bowing up and down?
yeah, just the forearm strength alone and the having to balance it too. That sounds crazy.
Yeah. I mean, he wasn't even a big dude. It was like he was pretty skinny too. I was like, put me in my place.
Right? Yeah. Everyone's like could be weirdly strong in different areas.
Yeah, right. And then after the glute ham raise, we had them do a sideline rear out fly, which is basically where you lie on your side, like almost in like a fetal position, and then you grab one dumbbell and then raise it up to the ceiling to hit your rear out. Shout out Coach Sam. He's actually the one who came up with that idea for me to do for today. I thought it was a
Nice.
great exercise. I don't do it in my personal training because I have cables, so I rather use like cable machines for that type of exercise. But
Hmm.
for BFT, since we don't have cables, I think that's a great exercise.
Yeah, I also like it because it helps get some rotation through the scapula. Like seeing the I saw like on people that were wearing like tank tops and stuff, you literally see the scapula move, and then as you lift that arm back up, you see the scapula recontract. So that was really cool to see. I think that's a good rehab type exercise for people that are dealing with like especially front of the shoulder pain. That's a really good exercise to help reset that shoulder back into place.
Mm-hmm. You want to talk about the isometrics that we done today?
Yeah, ISOs that we did today. First one was a lunge with the heel elevated, so a little soleus hold, followed by a Superman. Was that considered a plank or just a Superman?
Yeah,
Arms
Superman.
up, legs back, and then we closed out with what was the last one?
We did push-up holds.
Push-up holds. We have the option with the elevated barbell. We noticed in one of our other mobile machines when we had push-ups, a little bit too much to have someone hold that bottom position for
Yeah,
30 seconds. So depending on ranges, they had that little elevated surface to make sure they get to 30.
not a lot of people used it, but
Yeah,
it was there. It
it was there. Yeah.
was there. Yeah. How's your training been this week or life in general?
Um, I would say like big scope past month I have not been training.
Really?
Um yeah, it's been so bad. What I think I was like focused on I'm in an adult basketball league, so I was just really playing basketball using like that as an excuse not to train. Um, I would squeeze in like 1 or 2 strength days during the week, and then basketball season ended, and then I was like I'm relaxing now. 2 weeks off. Now this past couple weeks, I've started picking up the weights again, and then I I had time to get a cardio section session in. It was a really quick. Right after I coached Monday evening, like literally we set up, and then all I did was super heavy sled push sprints, followed by the ski erg for 250 meters. And I would go down and back with the sled with all the weights on it, and then go straight into ski erg for all out 250 meters. I did like 3 or 4 rounds of that. It took me about
Okay.
15 minutes, drenched in sweat, legs were dead. So it was kind of like it was cool to get like kind of a hinged focus move,
Hmm.
and then like a driving knee bending move. So I really liked that combo, and it was like I said, it was just a 15-minute quick workout.
Yeah. When you were during your basketball season and you said you only worked out probably at max 2 workouts a week, how'd you go about programming those 2 workouts in season?
Exactly. So I focused on full body movements.
Hmm.
Also working on unilateral training in the
Yep.
legs.
Yep.
So single leg RDLs, and then also making sure that I was hitting frontal plane, I believe it is, where you're
Yep.
hitting some lateral lunges. I've been experimenting a lot with the landmine, so doing
Mm.
a landmine lateral lunge. And I even played around with going into a lateral lunge and just shifting the hips over opposed to coming back up. So it kept all the weight and tension in the hips the entire time. So that was kind of like some new ones I've been experimenting with. But yeah, basically unilateral training, working in the frontal plane, and then just focusing on big muscle groups, full body.
Speaking of landmine, I don't know if you've been seeing Mauricio's posts, but I need to get good at landmines. I feel like it's such a good skill to like. It
Yeah,
looks cool too.
right, and it's so much
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
I've never been like properly taught how to.
Yeah. I want to be properly taught.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think we need to link up with
Yeah.
Coach Mauricio.
I mean, like I mess around here and there, like doing like the little twists and the presses and all that.
Yeah,
But I feel like there's so much more that I can do with a landmine, but I just don't know how. I feel like the
right.
main movements I do are like the twisting lunge to press. I don't even know what you call that, but
Yeah,
the one that you've been teaching me, and I've been loving. I think it's called a Yates row. It's where you just
yes.
basically grab the end of a landmine and do a row, single arm row,
Okay, okay.
and then single leg RDLs with a landmine. Those are
Yeah.
probably the few exercises where I would even touch the landmine. But other than that, I don't really use it, and I
Mhm.
want to learn how.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And then even just like a half kneel and shoulder press
Yeah.
really helps your scapula. There's very few moves where you could do a shoulder press and then the scapula could get that extra
Hmm.
rotation through the shoulder. So I like giving a lot of my clients that one. If I wanted a vertical pushing motion in my program. Um, Other than that, if I ever just need to switch up my workout, I just start doing landmine
Yeah.
stuff.
And
Yeah.
that actually reminded me of something. Yesterday during a power class, one of our members, Adam, he has like pretty poor shoulder mobility, but he can comfortably load and do a landmine overhead press. And like
Mm,
what you were saying is because of that shoulder position, right? It's not pressing straight overhead like a
correct.
barbell or dumbbell overhead press, but that
Yeah.
landmine kind of pushes at an angle. So if you have shoulder issues, then I feel like a landmine press is a great way to introduce, shoulder flexion until your shoulder gets better.
Yeah, 100%. I really like that. How about you? How's training this week for you? What'd you focus on?
Today, no training, just run club. But the past week,
Just ran 4 miles.
yeah, this morning ran 4 miles. Yeah. Yeah, no training, just a recovery day.
Yeah.
But this past week, I did do a long run with my roommate. He's going to be training for the La Jolla half marathon.
Oh, the
So
rock
I
and roll?
paced. I don't think it's the rock and roll. It's the one coming
Okay.
up in a couple weeks. It's a La Jolla one.
Got you. Got you.
Yeah.
Nice.
He's training for the half. So I paced him for 8 miles this past Thursday. So that was a lot of fun. I haven't ran that fast and that long in a while. So it
Mm,
felt good being outdoors. The weather's perfect. Oh, speaking
yeah.
of the weather, something I learned during exercise physiology class that I thought was really interesting. We or she was teaching us of like how temperature affects exercise tolerance.
Mm,
And apparently, I mean, this graph, first, there's so many studies, but this one particular study had this graph where it showed how long to exhaustion a participant can handle exercise and
mm,
what temperature. So we put participants in like a colder environment, so like 40 degrees Fahrenheit, and then like 50 degrees Fahrenheit, and then like room temperature, which is around like 68, 70 degrees, and then a hot environment. You want to guess which temperature or like roughly the range of temperature that the participants are able to tolerate exercise the longest? You want to guess?
mm. Tolerate exercise the longest, I would
Yeah.
guess in the cold, not the
Yeah.
hot heat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah, 52 degrees is apparently like the sweet spot. And
Oh, that's the ideal temperature.
yeah, ideal. I mean, according to the study. But
Yeah.
she also like brought in like a current example. The past week there was a Boston Marathon. I know you've been keeping up with like races
A
and all
little
that,
bit. A little bit.
but the male and female um, both set world records for the Boston Marathon, and it was in like the low 50s for temperature. So
Oh, really?
of course that's not the only contributing
Yeah.
factor, but you know it's pretty cool just to know that. But yeah, I
What
mean,
did
weather here in
the
San Diego is like around that right now, so feels good to run.
nice. What did the woman run that broke the world record?
I don't know exactly, but today a guy just broke sub 2 on a marathon in
Yeah.
London.
Right. And it said like under because I know that one I don't know if it's the same guy or different guy. I know
Yeah,
that one guy did it with he had like a ton of pacers and he was like the only one running. And I
yeah.
think I saw the only difference with this guy was something about the conditions were different.
I'm not sure, but this is the first. I think this is the first official sub 2 hour marathon in a race. The other guy who ran it previously, like
Yeah.
a couple years ago, his name is Kipchoge, Elliot Kipchoge or something.
Yeah.
He ran a sub 2, but the race was like only for him.
Right,
He
right.
had
It
like
was just for him to break that
it was just
record.
for him to break the record. So someone has ran it before, but today I believe was the first day where someone actually ran a sub 2 in a race,
Oh, nasty.
which
And
is
that's
like
what, like a
crazy.
4:34 paced or something ridiculous.
I don't even know. I can't even run that fast in like a regular run, no
Right,
matter
right.
regardless of 26 miles or not.
Incredible. Yeah, that's huge. That is like super crazy to see.
Yeah, so history has been made today.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You do any strength training this week?
I did do a Zercher deadlift.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been trying to get stronger. I've been squatting again, hit 295 for 5 is the most I got to, but my squat fall off is crazy. Going from 405 and now I can barely even break 300.
Yeah. How
Yikes.
does it feel like? Maybe you could talk about like the sports psychology of it a little bit. Like
Yeah.
how are you approaching it? And like, because some, there's, I get a lot of clients that are like, oh, I used to bench 250 or whatever.
Yeah.
And then now they could bench like barely a plate. And now they're super discouraged, but they're thinking about them past selves like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
How do you mentally approach like, oh, I hit 405 before, and now I'm throwing on 295 for 5, which I don't know what you could have done before when you were at that
Yeah.
peak strength, but you might feel weaker, but not like, hey, yeah, how do you approach that?
Yeah. Well, I can't really relate to the people who are like older now and say like, well, 20 years ago in college, I
Mhm.
could have done that. I benched, X amount. Because right now, if I train for it, I mean, I can get 405 again if I wanted to.
Yeah.
So I don't really get affected by it as much because right now
Mhm.
my priority is different. It's more of a hybrid approach, running, lifting, a lot of mobility stuff. So like that's not really my focus right now. So I'm not too caught up on it. Of
I
course, like
see.
when I load up the bar, right, my ego gets kind of high sometimes. Sometimes I walk into it without like any warm up sets, which is not a great idea. But because like that's what I've done before. Like before, I just
Right.
slapped on two plates, went up to three, and went up to like 365, and that's it. But now it's like, okay, I got to do the 135, got to do the 225, got to do 275, and the 350.
That's so much work.
Yeah, so it's all. I mean, I try not to get caught up in it.
That's
Just
good.
training for fun right now. Don't really care too much about weight, but I do want to get. I've been adding progressively for my squat. Like next week, I will try to get 315,
Nice.
at
Nice.
least for like 3 or 4.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. But Zercher deadlifts are fun. First time doing it. It's basically when
Yeah.
you hold the barbell. For those of you who don't know, hold the barbell at your elbows, and then you basically bring it all the way down to a deadlift. It's kind of hard to explain, but
How much knee bend do you have in that?
not too much to where it looks like a squat. It's still a hinge,
Yeah.
but my elbows do will like kind of scrape my knees a little bit. Like
Okay.
it's not
At
a
the same
don't
time.
think of it like a stiff leg deadlift.
Okay.
There's still a knee bend. I don't have the
Yeah.
mobility for that. And I'm not sure what's considered a proper Zercher deadlift. There's probably so many like I don't know mobility gurus out there that said, "Oh, your knees have to be straight," but
Right.
I honestly don't know. I'm just doing it for fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. You're just like picking up weight in a Zercher position and trying to keep your spine in a decent positioning.
In a decent position. Yeah, just slight some rounding, but it's mainly coming from a hip hinge movement.
That's good that you're feeling it mainly there.
Yeah. Next time when we train together, we'll definitely go do those together.
Let's add it. Let's
Yeah.
try it.
I'm gonna get you to a 225 Zercher deadlift.
Barely squat 225.
Well, that's my goal. It's a 225
Oh,
Zercher deadlift. I'll
yeah,
get it
dude.
one day.
Sick. I think you get it. I need to build my tolerance just holding it.
Yes, you get used to it. For me, it gets progressively more painful up until like one plate to like 185. After that, from 185 to all the way to like 315, which is the most I ever held in a Zercher position, it feels the same.
Feels the same.
It's like a numbing effect. Like once you
Right,
get to
right.
like 185, it's like anything after that is it feels the same.
Okay.
It just
Okay, good to know.
feels like a brick just like stabbed into your elbow. That's it.
Yeah, yeah. That's funny. So, like, you went from a 405 squat to what, a sub 6 mile within a month?
Within 6 weeks.
Within
Yeah.
6 weeks. So you
Yeah.
hit the 405 squat, then you said, I'm going on this running journey.
Yeah.
Like, what did something inspire it? Or, yeah, what did you think?
It was spontaneous. It was just like I want to start running. And my mile has always been like really bad ever since I was a kid. Like, of
Mm,
course, like compared to my peers,
yeah,
because all my peers are running in the sevens. I was always stuck in like the eights, even growing up. I
yeah,
was
wow.
always in like the 8 to 8:30. And then in late high school, I started working my way down to like the sevens, but I never even touched sixes
Mm,
until I just started training for the 6 minute mile. I think I went from a high 6:30 to sub six in 6 weeks. So shaved
okay.
off 30 seconds. Yeah.
And what were you focused on when you were training for that? What was your approach?
A lot of track workouts, a lot of intervals. So, I mean, we can
Okay.
talk about like the whole cardio feel right now, but
Hmm.
basically for me, cardio, I look at it as intervals and like high intensity and endurance, which is like long intensity or long duration.
Hmm.
So for my 6 minute mile, it was not too much of endurance and like long runs. It was more of just track workouts and interval workouts. So I'll do like 400-meter repeats, which is like run one lap, I want to walk a bit and then run another lap. So a lot of those just to build up speed. Because I feel like for a mile, at least for me at the time, I had the strength and I had like the capacity to do it. I just needed kind of like the mental willpower. Because
Mm,
at a certain point, once you get to lap two or lap three in a mile, you just start breaking down. Like you don't want to keep going. Your brain is telling you to stop. But for me, it was just training to feel comfortable in that like uncomfortable position.
Got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, to know that you have the leg endurance to
Yeah.
push towards the end.
Yeah. What's your best mile?
My best mile I think I ever ran was like 6:17.
That's
And
really
I was
good.
like, it was pretty solid. It was
Yeah.
sometime in high school.
Yeah.
Um, that was my best ever mile. My my strategy is like last 200 meters is just like a full out sprint.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, for me, it was not much pacing. It's just like you just go as fast as you can, pretty much. For me, when I got that.
Yeah, and then when I remember when I would run a mile, that third lap was always the
Oh
one
yeah.
that messed me up.
Yeah.
Like if I could just get through that third lap, then I'm like, okay, now you could think about the end now. But yeah, third lap was always the hardest.
I think for me, the mile is probably the most painful feeling that I've ever felt while exercising.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, no,
What's your like
I take that back. The most painful
me too.
was last week's thermal regulation lab.
Right, right.
The heat chamber.
Mm.
But
Um,
yeah.
what is your approach like lap by lap? Like what's your like mental, what do you think about after lap one, lap two? Like how do
Yeah.
you think through it?
So I mean, I was kind of jokingly, but also kind of serious where you kind of just have to go hard if I'm trying to go for a PR. But on
Right.
lap one, you should be going at a comfortable pace to where you don't burn out after the first lap. Like it's not a full
Mhm.
out sprint, obviously. Lap two, you're building momentum, but you're still not going all out. And I believe for me, lap three is always the hardest. I mean, for me too. And
Mhm.
then once you get to that final lap, it's an all out sprint. Like you got to give
Wow.
it everything. I I remember just right when I hit lap three, it was just go,
Ooh.
just like no breaks, just going.
And
I'm
when
sure
you
there's a
were
more like scientific and methodological approach to
yeah.
the mile, but for me, it was more of just the first half, pace a little bit, still go hard, and then the last half just go all out.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Like build a little bit momentum
Yeah,
and then like close out strong. When you first broke sub six, like when you started that last lap, did you check your watch like, oh shit, I have time to?
yeah. I started out really fast actually. I think I started the first two laps at a 5:30 pace.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and
Wow.
then I think I did maybe like a 6 minute pace for my dirt lap, and then the final lap, even though I went all out, I think I got like a 6:30 pace on the last lap.
Oh
But
shit, but it
it
felt like you're
averaged out.
giving everything.
It doesn't matter. It averaged out to sub six anyways.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
that's so cool.
yeah,
And then, all right, you hit sub six, and then what was your? Because you kept running after that, you were doing longer
yeah,
distances. What was your approach after?
yeah. So long distance runs for myself, I actually took a long break after running sub six. Went back to lifting
Okay.
for at least 3 4 months. Didn't really run. I was sick of it.
Yeah,
And then when I got back into running, I wanted to do long distance. So even some of my friends at the time, they were doing 3 4 miles at a time, like just just a 5K. And I thought that would be really cool. If I can just run 3 miles straight without stopping, I'd be really
yeah.
happy. That was my goal at the time.
No way.
Yeah. So I was at a point where like I didn't even think I could run like a 5K comfortably without stopping. I remember
Yeah.
joining a run club at a gym next to my house. This was actually only last year, last summer. And then they would have run clubs that's like 3 or 4 miles. I remember on mile two, mile three, I would have to stop and walk.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it wasn't until I started going to that run club more, started running more frequently. My suggestion for you, if you're getting to running, is just being consistent. I say start with just once a week. If you can get in 2 3 miles, 4 miles, doesn't matter how, doesn't matter if you have to walk some of it. If you can get 2 3 4 miles a week, that's all you need. And then once you
Mhm.
build the momentum, then you can start adding. The general rule of thumb is 10% a week, but if you feel good, go ahead and add a mile or two, week by week if you feel good, and you just progress from there.
Mm. Yeah, so it's more like your approach is more like just build a baseline, get
Yeah,
consistent,
and you gotta have
just get
fun
out there
too.
and try.
Yeah, you gotta have fun because a lot of people, when I mention running, they're like, "Oh, I hate running." It's like, when's the last time you ran? A year ago. So try it again.
Yeah.
You gotta take a smarter approach by having fun. You gotta enjoy the process, enjoy failing a little bit, enjoy having to stop sometimes, but it's all part of the fun of it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even for any cardio, it doesn't have to be running. I mean, yeah, I get it. If you don't like running, that's fine. But you can also swim, you can bike, you can go to cardio classes at group fitness gyms. So many options.
Yeah. The most unconventional way that I've ever gone cardio and like
Yeah.
the best way that got me to like start moving my ass again was like during COVID, put on a ton of weight and then literally I downloaded a boxing VR game. I kid you not, I moved the dining table out the way, make space in the kitchen, and literally VR boxing was the funnest form of cardio
Yeah.
I would do. And still to this day, every once in a while, if I'm in a funk, I hop in the VR and I start boxing some computer. And it's like you just completely forget that you're doing cardio. I kid you not, after like 3 rounds, dripping sweat,
Yeah.
and do like 2 or 3 fights. You get in, it's like 15-minute fights. Um, so like you get like 30 minutes to 45 minutes of cardio in, and you are like, I absolutely would gas myself, especially like because there's this one guy at the end. He's like the big
The
character you gotta
boss.
beat,
Yeah.
the boss. Yeah. So essentially, like if I don't knock him down, I'll lose the fight. So it'll be the last round, and I'm just swinging as hard as I can, and like absolutely gassing. I like want to breathe, and then I like keep going, and then um, sometimes he falls, sometimes he doesn't, and it gets frustrating.
Yeah. I mean, that's the beauty of cardio. You just gotta have fun. Even if it's just going out for a walk. Just starting
Yeah.
easy, nice and easy. I remember for my first runs, it was just run for 90 seconds, walk for 90 seconds. That's it.
Wow.
Very, very simple. Any able body is able to do a slight jog for 90 seconds and a walk for 90 seconds. If you progress that on rounds, eventually you do 90-second runs, 60-second walk. And then you do 90-second runs, 30-second walk, 90-second run, maybe 10-second walk. You just keep
Mm,
building from there, from a small incremental increases week by week, then you're going to get to a really good, comfortable pace. And speaking of pace, do not worry about pace. I remember just wanting to hit, a 5K for at least a sub 9 pace. That was my goal. And
mm.
every time I chased that, I would just start cramping up. I would start huffing and puffing from mile one because I went too fast. Just be comfortable, enjoy the run. Slowly but surely, your pace will go down. Um, but of course, if you're training for a race and all that, yes, worry about pace. But if you just want to get leisurely into running, don't worry about that.
Right, right. And the definition of a jog is just anything a little bit faster than a walk. Do a speed walk, and as soon as you go from a speed walk to you have to actually kind of like jump a little bit and feet have to get off the ground. That's the definition of a jog. So it can be literally as slow as just going faster than a walk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then that's all you need in the beginning. And then once you get more advanced, then yeah, you can start looking at like heart rate training. So getting a watch, getting a heart rate monitor to help you track your pace accurately and to look at your intensity. For me, I've been always into like low heart rate zone training. So I would stay like at least below a 150, 155 for a long period of time. I feel like if for me, I feel good during the run. It's not too intense. I'm at a conversational pace. So if I was running with someone else, I could talk to them and have a conversation. That's how comfortable and how light your runs, majority of your runs should be.
And when you're going through these runs, how are you? How long of runs did you start with, and then what did you build up to over time?
Yeah. So in the beginning, like I said, I was training just to run a 5K comfortably. So that
Mhm.
was, 2, 3 miles of, running at one time in the beginning. Now I would say I'm comfortable going up to the 8 range. Anything above 8, yeah, I start feeling it a little bit. Done it before, but you know, I start feeling my knees, start feeling my legs. So I wouldn't say I'm a super advanced runner. I've been doing this for a year. So, but yeah, right now I can comfortably do, I wouldn't say 8 to 10 miles, just at a comfortable conversational pace. Yeah.
Wow, wow. Do you have plans to run a half or a full this
I
year?
want to. This
Yeah.
year, not sure. I I do want to eventually do a half marathon. For me right now, a full marathon just seems so too much.
Mm.
It's just think about it, like 26 miles. I don't know about you, but I don't know if I can even walk 26 miles.
Walk 26 miles.
No, eventually in my life, I will eventually do a marathon, but
100%.
baby steps, baby steps.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy to think about like those Stravas where like I think there's a famous one for the New York Marathon and you like literally like they're going through the entire city. It's so long.
Yeah, it's crazy. 26 miles is a lot. Like for people who don't run, they just think of a marathon as a marathon and nothing else. It's just an event for running. But when you actually put into perspective, a 26-mile run for even like pretty intermediate runners will take around 4 hours. That's 4 hours of straight running. Which other fitness event or
Yeah.
uh, would require the participant to exercise for 4 hours straight? So it's a lot of work, more than
Yeah.
most people realize, especially non-runners.
Right. Right. So like nutrition, sleep, hydration, fuel during
Everything.
the entire run, it like has to be dialed in.
Yeah, and especially going for a good pace too. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
talk about your HYROX training. Well, first of
Ooh,
all, what is
HYROX.
HYROX?
Ooh. HYROX stands for Hybrid Rock Star, apparently.
Does it
Gary
actually?
Bell. I think so.
Seriously? Really?
I
Hybrid
think
rock star.
I think that's what it stands for, apparently.
I did not
Um,
know that.
you remember Gary Bone?
Yeah.
He was like, I refuse to do a HYROX because it stands for that. I was like,
Oh,
okay.
hi.
I don't know.
Well, anyways,
Um,
talk about hybrid rock star. Why?
so HYROX is essentially an event that incorporates 8 different, I would say, strength and endurance exercises, and between each one of those exercises, you run 1,000 meters in between. So 8 runs of 1,000 meters, 8 different exercises. Um, when I began training for this, I actually went on a run with Keenan to from Little Italy to Balboa Park and
I do
back.
remember that. Yep. Good times.
And I'm a person who despises running, and I've
Yes.
always had a terrible relationship with running my entire life. Um, so yeah, that was the first time I ran, I think, over a mile and a half because I had to do the mile and a half test in college.
Yep.
That was the first time I ran over a mile and a half since like I think junior year of high school.
Wow.
And
We did 4 miles that day.
yeah, 4 miles. And I felt like surprisingly good.
Mhm.
Like I was getting a little worried how much I was enjoying that run.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And yeah, it was super smooth. Keenan gave the same advice of like, if you need to walk, go ahead, walk. It's not a big deal. So we walked for a little bit, and then also just like not really worrying about pace too much, just running at a comfortable pace. I think we
Yeah.
were around like 9 minutes, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. It was something solid for sure. Something impressive for your first run, definitely.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you. So that was my first run into HYROX. So my thought process was like, I have a decent amount of strength, I have a decent amount of cardio, but I don't run at all. So my approach for HYROX was like, I need to work on running. That's the only way I'm going to survive this HYROX. Um, so yeah, started by first running Keenan, and then how I approached the rest of my training was I focused 90% on just the exercises that I was going to see in the event. And then that as far as those strength events go, strength and endurance events. And then outside of that, I was just trying to get a run in. So I would say if I would do a pie of my training, I would say it's probably 70% running,
Mhm.
30% the exercises. So how I would approach just like once I started training with this, I would do an exercise, go out for a run. Exercise, go out for a run.
Very
And
similar to the actual competition.
yes, I was trying to mimic what the competition would feel like.
Yeah.
So I would do so in the competition, you have to do 1,000 meter skier. I did it with a partner, so you get to split up. And those 8 events, you get to split those however you want between you and your partner.
Hmm.
Since I had a little bit more skill, more familiar with it, I would train 750 meters on the skier,
Hmm.
and then I would immediately go out and do a 1,000 meter run, which I forget what that comes out to. I think it's like 6 laps, so a
Yeah.
mile and a half or something. So then I would do skier, go out for a run, and then I came back in. I would do, I'm trying to think what else. I would do the rower, 750 meters, go out for a run, come back in. Another one was walking lunges with a bag. I would come back in, do walking lunges with the bag, go out for the run. That was probably my first workout. It was just 3 out of the 8 events.
Yeah.
I would say every couple weeks, I would add another exercise to the training. And my main goal was just to focus on for the HYROX. It's mainly about you're going to exercise and running. I was trying to limit my amount of fatigue in between there.
Hmm.
So I would focus on the exercise. I would tell myself I'd want to walk, rest, grab some water. I said, no, Jared, you're immediately running right now.
Yeah.
So trying to run on tired legs is my biggest piece of advice
Yeah.
for people that want to train for HYROX, because how they have it set up, it's set up in a way in which it's meant to tax your legs for the run. So you have to learn how to have like that built up lactic acid in your legs and having to do like a mile and a half run.
Yeah. If Hyrox is coming back again in December, December
December.
4th, 5th, and 6th, I believe. I have the
Oh,
dates
you
ingrained in my
have the
brain.
dates. Yeah.
Yes, I do plan on doing the solo one if I'm in town. If you
Yeah.
were to do it again, and let's say
Hmm.
you are going to be doing you know what? I'm signing you up. You are going to be doing that for,
Yeah.
it's what? December is going to be in like 8 months.
Yeah.
How would you approach training
Mm.
differently than what you previously did for your first hard rocks?
Yeah. So what I would do differently was because I would probably want to do a solo this time. Obviously up all the events to whatever the distances are in my training. Also, starting my training a lot earlier. I think I
Mhm.
decided September or October that I was going to do it. So I had like 2 to 3 months maybe
Yeah.
of
Still pretty
total
good
training
solid
time.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was, and especially as like a trained individual, I just
Yeah.
needed kind of more so adjust how I trained for a few months.
Hmm.
So my body was ready because I was already working with a baseline. I would just do more training further out. So I'd probably want to start like 5 to 6 months out. Maybe for the first couple months, get super comfortable with the running portion, and then start incorporating more hybrid style stuff. And then just like really making sure I'm upping the amount of volume. I wonder if I would tell me what you would think. Like, would you ever approach it like going past, like say skiers 1,000 meters, doing 1,500 meters, and then doing it like doing more than I would do in the actual event?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like running too, right? Like your runs aren't only going to be limited to 8K because in the event it's 8K, which is a little bit above 5 miles, I believe.
Yeah, yeah. I think it
So
ends up
like
being
yeah, so like for running, for example, right? You're not just going to run 5 miles and call it a day. I would
right.
say for high rocks athletes, you pretty much are elite half marathoners because you're in
Yeah.
that like 1 hour to like 1:30 range, right? The around that time frame. So if you can build endurance to sustain that amount of effort for hour and a half, you're good to go. So going back to your question, yeah, I think ski erg and rower, you're not going to limit it to just bursts of intervals. Maybe if you're doing partners, right, you can switch on and off. Then yeah, it makes sense to go fast.
Yeah.
But for solos, I think training above the prescribed target is a good approach, especially
Nice.
for building endurance.
Yeah.
You were
Yeah.
mentioning that pie chart where you did 70% running, 30% functional exercises. Would
Yeah.
you change that pie chart or would you probably keep it around the same split for this next HYROX?
I think it would depend on how good my running is. Because
Mm-hmm.
my main thing was I was going from 0 to having to do exercise and also run like 5 to 6 miles. So that's why I just like I knew if I wanted to endure the event and not have like a ton of complications, I would have to do more running portion. If I start adding running to my routine now and then start building my cardio up a little bit, I would say that chart would probably go, I would still say 60-40 just because
Mm-hmm.
running just isn't a strong suit of mine.
Yeah.
Um, and then I would mainly do more of what really helped me was those HYROX style workouts. That was
Yeah.
just like so good. Um, as just far as like you already know what you're signing up for, you know what events you're gonna see. It's more so just like having the endurance for it. So having that specific sport application in my training would probably be my main focus as I would anticipate having more of a running baseline.
Yeah. Yeah. Smart. When I was training or when I am training my client for his HYROX, I did a lot of, I called it compromise runs where
Mm,
I basically destroy his legs and then make him
yeah.
run. It's
Yeah.
brutal.
Right.
It's brutal. It's absolutely brutal. But when he came back from HYROX, he was like, yeah, I felt the burn, but it wasn't as bad as you. Yeah. Because I made him do, I basically weighted walking lunges more than what HYROX gives you. So just
Wow.
basically just taxing your legs. He's a fit guy, so I'm able to push him. And then I would make him do a run. And we'll just keep going back and forth between that. We'll
Wow.
do lunges, we'll do wall balls, basically everything in the lower body, and then make him run. And his runs were definitely compromised.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
think when I train for a HYROX, that's gonna be my issue is I don't think it's gonna be the pure endurance aspect of it because I think I can sustain an effort for an hour and a half plus. But my issue is gonna be number one, the strength of pushing the sleds, which I think is gonna be really hard. You can probably
Mhm.
talk to that a little bit too.
Yeah.
And doing runs after, lunges and all those functional exercises, that's gonna be where it's gonna get me.
Yeah. I will say, a big as far as like mindset how to approach the race on race day was those first 3 events, 3 to 4 events are really supposed to not go all out, make it nice and easy.
Mm,
And I will say I got a little excited. Second exercise was the sled push.
mm,
I got a little excited and like jumped out the gate really fast and kind of sprinted the sled push.
yeah,
And I was only doing half. And after that, I totally felt my quads. I was like, oh no. And it's very strategic the order that they put these
yeah.
exercises in. Um, so I mean, the sled is like it's super doable as far as the push goes.
Well,
I
you are a
think
strong guy. Don't get don't,
that
a
too.
lot of people they can't even move that thing.
Yeah, maybe that's valid because I could lean more body weight into it too. So I wonder if like it'd be beneficial to add like a little bit of size for you.
Interesting. That'll be an interesting approach.
Yeah,
I
I don't
I
know. Just
probably wouldn't though. I probably wouldn't.
yeah,
I think I need to test out. I need to have you test out what the sled is, what feels like because
yeah,
you go to any other gym, the floor is going to be different, sled's going to be different. The
right.
friction. static, dynamic friction, they're all going to be different. So I feel like someone who's actually done it, so like you, maybe
Yeah,
Curtis, test out the sled, see if that's okay. That's about how it feels. I'll probably even add on like 40 plus pounds on top of that just to
for
prepare
sure.
myself. But yeah, I think sleds is something I have to prepare for.
Yeah, yeah. What Mauricio did, in a class I coached with him, he put like a 60-pound dumbbell right in front of our
Mhm.
sled on the turf. That felt like a little bit more like it. I would say even that one probably felt a little heavy compared to the race.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sleds are
Sled pull
difficult.
though, easy.
Mhm.
Sled pull is so easy
With the rope.
with the rope because of the technique of
Yeah,
like walking back a couple steps, getting all the getting it tight and then pulling it again.
you just stay
Um,
in your little box.
right. I did see some people just straight bicepping it, and
Mhm.
that did not go well for them. They were so
Yeah,
gassed and it went so slow.
surprisingly, my client, he preferred that. He preferred just using his arms. Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, he's a strong dude though, so he was able
Yeah.
to like muscle it. But that's what he did.
Yeah, another event. The hardest one for me was burpee broad jumps,
Yeah.
but I would imagine you would fly on that.
Not sure about that. I've been doing some high rock training in my own.
Really?
Yeah, I've been doing intervals for like ski because my gym we have an indoor track and then we have like the rower, skier, wall balls, space to do like burpee broads and all that. So I've been doing like short intervals, nothing long though, just 20 minutes at the end of my workout, just quick cardio, something
Hmm.
quick. I've been doing that. It's been a lot of fun, but I'm gonna tell you that burpee drop broad jumps are definitely not easy.
No, they're not easy. What other event is there? I know there's the 100 wall balls. So we went skier,
The carries.
the carries. Yeah. Yeah, my partner decided to start sprinting with them, and that threw me off after the run. I was like, okay, we're gonna breathe a little. And he just grabbed them and sprinted them. That was funny.
Those are
Yeah,
easy
when
though.
yeah, that's probably one of the easier events. It just taxes the forearms.
Mhm.
So when it's ski erg, 1,000 meters, sled push and pull. I think that was 225 if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
What was that?
350 it was in 300s for sure,
Okay,
I believe.
interesting. Um, gosh, I'm forgetting that fourth event. Maybe walking lunges. That
Yeah.
one was really hard. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Because I think your back knee has to touch the ground,
Yep. Yep. Has to tap it.
has to tap it, and after running like three or well, actually that would be after the fourth run. It was absolutely brutal to go into those weighted walking lunges. Um,
I
and then
think
I think,
shoes are very important for
yeah,
HYROX. What'd you wear?
I wore these A6 running shoes. That was like the number one recommended
Mhm.
shoe. Um, and because it's very sagittal plane, it worked out with the running. Like I never felt like I lost my grip at all. I
Yeah.
felt sturdy enough. Um, like I didn't think about it on the sled push, which I think would probably be the biggest one. I'd worry about like grip. But yeah, everything else, yeah, it went pretty smooth with just normal. I think they're just normal running shoes. They're not a cross training
Hmm.
shoe.
Yeah. The Nova Blast. Yeah. Super Blast. Nova Blast.
Yes, yes, Nova Blast, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's find a shoe that has good grip, especially for the sled. It's gonna help a lot. And tie your shoes tight.
All right, yeah,
Yeah.
Tyler shoes tight. What else? There's farmer's carry, and then I think it was rower after that.
Hmm. Which is easy.
The
It's
row
like a rest.
it is kind of a rest. It was a bit of a challenge, a little bit for me, um, just because it was a longer amount of time, and I think I was getting that right around there is when I was starting to just feel like the event a little bit.
Hmm.
Um, but no, it wasn't that bad. I really try to focus on my breathing, but I remember I had to be very tunnel vision. Like I was just focused on the rower and nothing else. Um, and then I think after that is the 100 wall balls.
Yeah. Which is hard, but thankfully you don't have to run after.
You don't have to run after, and then the ball's like way lighter than you anticipated being.
Really?
it felt like it was like 8 to 10 pounds. Maybe
It's
it was
supposed to be
12.
12, right?
I think it was 12. It felt so light. I think maybe because I was training with the 16 or 8,
Mm,
18 pound ball. Um, and it was funny that there's literally someone like squatting behind you, making sure you get
checking.
below parallel.
Yeah.
There's a couple times she goes, "You need to get lower," and then I didn't get lower, and she would take a point off. So like it just like I'd throw it up there, it just wouldn't count.
Yeah. That's annoying, but part of the rules.
Yeah,
So is
yeah.
there staff that basically just follows you the whole race for every single event?
Um, no, but they have staff at each station.
I see. I see. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
And then it's very organized. Like you run in different waves. So you got
Mhm.
a wave at a certain start time. Let's say it's like a 1 o'clock race. You have a wave of I don't know, maybe 40 people, 40 to 50 people. You guys all go, and then I don't know how much time they put in between, maybe like 20 minutes, and then the next wave starts.
I see.
So there's like hundreds of people on the race, but it feels like there was never a point where like I went to an event where there was someone in a different heat or like
I
multiple
see.
people in a different heat and I didn't have access to equipment
Yeah,
or
yeah.
space.
Yeah. My
Yeah.
vision for training for HYROX is if we can get some of the coaches at BFT to do it,
Yeah.
then we can kind of do like group workouts where we
Ooh.
coaches also do it with the members who are doing HYROX and make it exclusive to people who actually sign up for HYROX.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's like, what if we
I
can just
actually
like kind of just like book out the gym for, I don't know, an hour to 2 hours.
yeah,
People who only sign up for HYROX and coaches who only signed up for HYROX are allowed to come to these workouts and just work.
that's a great idea. We got
Yeah.
got to run that by
Yeah.
Curtis and Gary and Leanne.
Yeah. Are you gonna do it? Round two?
After this conversation, maybe. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I
Solo though,
probably
right? Yeah.
I'll do a solo, and then
Yeah.
after you and me both get a solo under our belt, we should do a do a duo.
Can you? You can do that?
You do a partner one.
That's a
I'm saying
lot.
at a I'm saying at a later date. Later date.
Oh, I think you're saying like within the same like event day.
Oh hell no, that'd be
I
way
was
too
like,
much.
we're gonna be doing a solo on I don't know Saturday, and then we're gonna be coming in again doing a duel on Sunday.
No, no, that'd
You
be
know
way too
the
much.
pros do that. I just watched a YouTube video of this guy. He he was helping another guy get into HYROX, so he did duos with him the day before, and for him it was like a warm up because he's like super fit. So it was like just a warm up HYROX. I think he still hit like a sub 130 with the guy. And
Damn,
then
wow,
the next day was his race day.
that's incredible.
Yeah, so
Wow.
people are like, there's levels to this stuff.
Yeah. One thing that threw me off was I think I just need to really know it before I do it next time. But thank God for my partner. Was like how the laps worked. Because the
Yeah, it's
first one,
confusing. Yeah.
it's a little confusing. Most people get it, but um, there was one part of it, like towards the end, where I thought we did 2 laps, but he was like, "No, Jared, we just won." I knew if I was by myself, I would have just like went on to the next thing. And then you get deducted a ton of like time for
Yeah.
that. But yeah, so just really understanding how the laps work is very important.
Hmm.
Because I think even Curtis and Gary they fucked up the laps when they did it.
Yeah. Because they send out the map like at least a couple weeks before. And like, the pros, they'll study the map. They basically memorize the map. So they
Right.
know exactly which turn to make and exactly where to go after the first event.
Yeah.
And that's probably an approach that I'm gonna take. If I do sign up, I'm gonna take it pretty serious because it is my first fitness event. Like I never raced
Wow.
before. So this will be like my
Wow.
first official race, even for like marathons, 5K, 10K. I've never done an official race. So if I do sign up, this will be my first official race
Man,
or like competition.
would you sign up for like a 10K this year?
I don't know.
I don't know. It's kind of
I
a
feel like
waste of
10,
money.
yeah,
Opinion.
10K is kind of weak. I mean, if I'm gonna sign up for a race, I'm gonna at least do at least a half,
Make
not
it
a
a half
marathon.
at least. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to pay. I don't know how much to
Right.
run a 5K along the harbor. I'm like, I do that every day already.
Right, right,
Yeah.
exactly. No, that's super valid for sure.
But yeah, definitely High Rocks. I'll take it serious. I'm gonna train. I'm gonna give it at least 12 weeks, so at least 3 months out. Just like
Yeah.
training pretty hard.
Now I'm gonna have that in the back of my head. Doing a high rocks at the end of the year. I better start training now.
Yep, we might as well start now.
No, exactly. Oh, it will be good. I mean, I definitely got in really good shape when I was training for or a different kind of
Yeah,
shape.
yeah.
Um,
I,
felt
I saw
really
those
good.
photos. Look lean.
Yeah, that was probably the leanest I've ever been.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I don't feel like I'm too far away from that. So I think I should start throwing in some runs. At least start with at least one run a week. Maybe should be the takeaway from the pod today.
yeah. Take away from the pod. Final thoughts. Run once a week. Be consistent. And you know what? If you don't like running, just do some form of cardio at least once a week. It's good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, cardio is really good for you, and we talk a lot about strength training, but that's not all there is to like longevity and overall health. Cardio is definitely something that needs to be in your routine on a weekly basis. All right.
That's a wrap on this pod. Number 5.